Hello, you lovely, lovely people. Can you live in the Philippines on a shoestring? Yes, you can. Yes, you surely can. If you can live in your country, wherever you're coming from, on your pension to a degree, then you can definitely live here. It's not as cheap as what a lot of people make out it is. 8 years ago, when I first come here, it was a lot cheaper, and I mean everything was a lot cheaper. From gasoline, to the electricity fees and the food. Everything was cheaper 8 years ago, which was in any country. I think 8 years ago was cheaper, but it's still not expensive to live here. Your biggest expense, and I'm not doing a budget video, people, because to me it doesn't seem right, because we've all got different ideas of budgets. But to live here on your pension from your country, you can do that very, very, very easily, even on a British pension. And the British pension is probably one of the worst in the European countries. For an example, your biggest expenditure here would probably be your rent. And depending on what kind of property or rental place apartment that you want to live in, will determine how much it is, and the location as well. Like, where I am here, in Dipolog, which is where I am now, people. I'm by the ocean now, and as you can see, it's quite rough out there, so there's no chance of me going fishing on my boat out there. No chance. So where I am here in Dipolog, the rentals for a decent place is around about between 3,000 and 5,000 pesos a month, and you will get between a 1 and 2 bedroom place. Obviously on the higher end of 5,000 you get a 2 bedroom place, which is what me and my wife lived in until we bought a lot and built our house. And I think that was 4,000 pesos a month, and we had, for internet and everything included, it was about 5,000 a month. That was for the internet, because it kind of came with the house, or it was a slightly different. They charged slightly more for the internet, which is fair enough because it was unlimited. So that's going to be your biggest expenditure, people, is your rent, I think. And obviously, if you're a bit of a drinker, the drink here is cheap, very cheap. For people who haven't been here before and you're thinking about it, if you are a drinker or you like a little tipple now and again, for 1 litre bottle of San Miguel or Red Horse, it's around about 110 pesos, which is about $2 for a litre. And this Red Horse, people, I mean, I don't drink it no more because it has got a kick like a horse, and I don't like the taste of it. So the drink will not cost you a lot of money if you buy it in the right places. Now, if you go to the foreign bars where the foreigners hang out, it's going to cost you a lot more. They'll probably charge you anything up to 200 pesos for a bottle. Now, food, again, people, it depends on what you can manage. It depends on what you can eat. Me, personally, I like Filipino food, but I couldn't live on it every day, day in and day out. So I like potatoes and things like this. So I go to the markets, and potatoes here, where I am, they range significantly depending on the size of the potato, believe it or not. But I go to this place every Saturday morning, with my wife, and it's called a bagsakan. And these market traders, they come from all around, and you can get your vegetables very, very, very cheap. Probably a third less than what you can in your local market in this place here. So yes, you can live on a shoestring if you want to, but you wouldn't have to if you're coming here with a pension from your home country, you wouldn't need to. I think the biggest thing is settling in. Of course, when you first come here, you don't know where to go. You don't know where to go for the cheapest things, or if you're on a budget. If you are on a budget. And like I said, it's not a budget video, people, because what's the point in me doing a budget video? What I would call my budget video, it's probably not going to be yours. But I think I've said it before, and I think a few other vloggers have said it, that you can easily manage on between $600 and $800 a month here if you live my way of life, my style of life. Now, it's not that I have to live my style of life. It's the way that I choose. It's my choice. I don't, or we don't, go into 5-star restaurants and things like this, because there are equally good restaurants where you aren't paying through the nose for something. You aren't paying for that name above the door with bright lights on it. There are equally as good places for half the price. Like I said, it depends where you are. Dumaguete, places like that where there are a lot of foreigners, you tend to find that the prices are raised because the foreigners are there. It's just like where there is a lot of Koreans in Cebu and all over the Philippines. They automatically lift the prices for us, basically. So being in province places where I live, it's cheaper. It's much cheaper. And it doesn't mean to say because it's cheaper that the quality of things is not as good, because it is, mostly. And you don't let people put you off about coming to the Philippines. I see a lot of videos of people saying it's dangerous here, don't go there, it's, the infrastructure is not so good, which I've spoke about before. Well, when you move into a cheaper country, a significantly cheaper country, then you have to take the rough with the smooth. You aren't going to have a super infrastructure. And it's not going to be a first world country. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as cheap as what it is. It would be on par with their European countries. And then that would demean coming here, wouldn't it? It's pointless coming here. Because it's a long way from home from the West here. Especially from England and that, the European countries. It's a bloody long way to come here. And America and Canada. It's a long way to come. Not so far for Australians and New Zealanders, but it's still a distance. So you've got to think to yourself, how much have you got to spend? How much do you want to live here? How much do you think you would be able to settle? Here's a good place to live, people. It is. And like I said in my previous video, the one just before this one, I have found my contentment here. I've never found it anywhere else. But like I said, one man's meat could be another man's poison. There has been many people that come here and just can't stand the place. But I think equally there is the same amount of people who come here and think, wow, this is brilliant, I love it here. Because it is very liberal and it is very free. And like I said, as long as you keep inside the law, keep away from those dirty bars, as I call them, the dirty bars where you possibly find yourself in a lot of trouble. But that's neither here nor there about living on a shoestring, if that's what you need to do. But obviously, the more you go out, the more you're going to spend. And depending on the places where you go would also depend on how much it's going to cost you. But you can certainly live here on $600 or $800 a month. And I'm not the only one who can do that. Many other foreigners do that here. Many other expats. So this isn't to do, or this video will probably be of no use for someone who's got a massive pension and money is no object. So you wouldn't be sat on the fence thinking, can I make it work in the Philippines? This video is probably not for you. But for the people who sat on the fence and wondering, could you make your money stretch here in the Philippines? If it's a full pension from your country, then yes, you can. very, very easily. And you wouldn't have to keep watching your pocket all the time, because like I said, if you are that kind of person where you don't like these fancy places too often, yes, I mean, I go to these fancy places with my wife now and again, but my wife doesn't like going there, to be honest. My wife would be, she's happier going to a little calendera place, like a little cafe place. She's equally happy going there, in fact more happy going there than much as if she goes into a place with bright lights. So just remember, people, the brighter the lights, the more expensive it's going to be. The more foreigners where you're going to choose to live in, the more expensive it's going to be. So just bear these things in mind. I mean, there will be a lot of foreigners who come here who want to mix with our own kind. But just bear in mind, when you do start mixing, then you might come across complaints. And I mean complaints from the foreigners who you are with, because I've come across it myself. When I used to mix with them when I first came here, I used to mix with them a little bit, and they was just complaining about the place. And what's the point in living somewhere if you don't like it? What's the point? No point whatsoever. And they can bring you down. Don't let it happen. Come to the Philippines, whether you come in, you've been here before, and you're still sat on the fence thinking, can I make it work? Well, it's only you that can decide that, isn't it? I can't. I'm just saying that. If you had to live on a shoestring, you can here. And not live on a shoestring where you are in your own country, where you can't go out, you can't afford to put the heating on. Here, you never have heating to put on. You only, you have electric fans and aircon. And to be honest with you, aircon, we haven't got it, because where we live kind of in the mountains, and it's fresh air. There's a lot of trees, and it is cooler. Now, right now I'm in Dipolog City. I've just dropped my wife off at Auntie's, and I just come to the boulevard here just to make a video, because I get some comments asking, what does it cost you to live there? And I can't really give I can tell you what it costs me, but I can't tell you what you're going to spend, because we're all different. You might like to eat steak and pork every single day. If you do, then that's going to be more expensive than what I spend. We eat pork maybe 3 times a week, and that's not because I can't. It's because I don't like eating too much meat. I've never been a big meat eater. Fish is so cheap here, people. Fish is so cheap, and good quality fish as well. Like the cod here, they don't call it cod, but it's like groupers and mangrove jacks and all of these kind of cod or rock fish. They just taste like cod, and it's so cheap. It's like $10 for the top fish. $10 a kilo. $10 a kilo for top quality fresh fish. I'm just watching some people out there fishing now, but they're in big boats. I wish I could get out there on my boat, but can't. It's too dangerous. So you can live a brilliant life here, really, people. The only thing I'd say is, don't keep thinking about it. Just do it. Just get on that plane and do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. At least you've tried to do it. For goodness sake, at least you've tried. Many people just keep talking and don't do. And then they get too old and they might have an illness where they can't try. So when you got your health, and I've got to say this as well, about doctors out here, pharmacies, medical supplies. If you've got like diabetes and or high blood, high cholesterol, you can easily get yourself treated out here and buy the medicine for cheap. It's not expensive. It's really not expensive, and there are so many generic places out here. You don't have to go to you know, what's it called, Mercury, and buy the top one. And for a doctor's consultation here, it's 600 pesos for a consultation. So it doesn't break the bank. It doesn't break the bank. Luckily, I've only ever had to go and see the doctor a couple of times, you know, since I've been here. You know, like one was when I had food poisoning off this street food. Another thing I've got to say, this, guys, if you're going to eat street food, if you are, make sure you go to where they have a lot of customers, a big turnover of food, because if they don't, the food in which they have from today, what they don't sell, will be sold tomorrow, and so on until it's gone. And this is how I got myself poisoned. But now I don't really eat street food now anyway, because I've been put off it. And water, be careful with the water, people. Again, it's common sense. You know, you don't need me to tell you that. But living on a shoestring, you can easily do, people. Get your cases packed, buy your ticket. If you have health insurance, brilliant. Or if you haven't, it doesn't matter. You'll get treated here very, very cheaply. Hospital fees might be a different story, I don't know. But anyway, get yourselves over. You know, you don't need me to tell you that. Get yourselves over here, people. Take good care and see you next time. God bless you all, people. Bye-bye.